Hi, this video is called The Wall. The wall is a metaphor for the reason that we have such difficult times in our life, why we have a lot of stress and anxiety often through our life, why we have depression, why we struggle to awaken and find enlightenment. The wall is something that I call it encases our spirit within us. When we're young, it could be when you're a little older, you're exposed to different things in life that make you very uncomfortable. When that happens, the ego, which is everything we learn and tries to protect us through our life, tries to protect us by building a wall, a solid wall made of thick steel within us to protect us so we're not hurt as badly, so we don't emotionally react, cry, and are hurt by what other people might do or say to us. Now, if you picture the ego being within our body, in our mind, for instance, picture the spirit perhaps residing within our heart. When the wall is built by the ego to protect us from the pain that we are exposed to in our life, whether that pain be verbal, emotional, physical, any pain, it builds the wall around our heart and trapping or locking up the spirit within the heart. The spirit has no way, once the wall is built, to communicate with you anymore. Therefore, once the wall is built, the stronger the wall is, the thicker the wall is, the less you will hear from your spirit, and the more you will react to what's going on in the world and what you were taught by the ego. It is very difficult to break down the wall once it's established because it protects us and we like to be protected. We don't want to cry. We don't want to fall apart. We don't want to feel bad when people do or say things to us. So the wall hardens our heart. And by hardening our heart again, it encases the spirit within it, not allowing the spirit to communicate with us. The result of this is that the emotions that we show because of the wall are all learned. They are not authentic emotions, they are not real emotions, but they're what we think these emotions should be. And that includes what we think love should be, what hate should be, what fear should be, what any emotion at all. They're all learned emotions, and therefore they're not real. The true emotions that we feel come from within our heart, come from our spirit, but the spirit is locked away by the wall. We all have a wall to an extent, but to break the wall is a very, very difficult thing. Very often, when somebody begins to awaken, they begin to question, is everything that I've done, is all my life that I've lived and thought that I knew why I was alive, is all that true? When they begin to awaken, the first cracks in the wall begin to form. Through these cracks, little bits of the spirit are able to escape, to come out, and maybe to try to communicate with you what is really going on in your life. That's what awakening is. Is the first cracks in the wall that was erected by the ego to protect you when you were often a child so that you would not be hurt, usually emotionally or verbally. It is a very tough time of life, awakening, because everything that you once believed, you now start to question, is it for real? Is what I learned true? And you honestly have no idea whether it is or not. To get to your real emotions, you need to break through the wall. It is a lot of anxiety and stress is caused simply by the conflict between the ego, which is everything we learned things should be, and the spirit, which is the true meaning of life and what our emotions really should be like. When this conflict comes within each ourselves, our ego is very strong and it tries to reinforce its ideas of what emotions should be, what we learned these emotions should be. But the spirit is trying to get its thoughts through, which are often very different than what we learned. For instance, showing love. Showing love from what we learned it's by hugging somebody, by kissing somebody, by being close to them. We learn from what we read in books, we learn from the movies, from watching our parents and other people. But that is not what love truly is. That type of love, we expect to get love back. The true type of love comes from the spirit. And what that is love given freely. We don't expect anything. We just share our love, our essence with everyone else without any conditions whatsoever. This conflict between the two different definitions of love, and with all emotions, this could be said, is the reason for the anxiety and stress we often feel within ourselves throughout our life. It is the conflict between what we learned and what is actually true that is within our spirit. After you awaken, it can be a very long time to break down the bonds of that wall and to try to shatter it to free your spirit from within your heart. The wall, as you further your journey along awakening, as you start to question more and more of what you learned, as you perhaps changed your life by getting new friends who kind of think like you do, who are no longer asleep. Perhaps your relationship with your spouse is no longer solid because they remain engulfed in the world of the ego. Perhaps you've changed your job from something that was quite successful, by where you made a lot of money, to making less money, but doing something that you find meaningful and being able to help other people. As you make these changes, the cracks in your wall start to get broader, get wider, and allowing more of your spiritual thoughts to escape from your heart and to start to take part, a bigger part in your life. What enlightenment is the complete shattering of the wall of steel that was built by the ego many, many years ago, allowing your spirit to be free and allowing your spirit to dictate the future of your life. No longer do you believe everything that you learned. Rather, you now hear the voice of your spirit and believe the direction that it is leading you on. It is an incredible journey, one that is extremely difficult to take, but very well worth it. Because if you don't take it, you will be destined to repeat all your mistakes again. Once you free your spirit from your heart and it takes precedence in your life, everything in your life will change. Now, the wall is a metaphor. It is used as an example of how we unlock or enclose or lock up our spirit within us, not allowing it to have influence on our life. So very often, unfortunately, people go through their entire life never able to break down the wall and living their life totally asleep, not realizing the possibilities that life offers. It is my hope that together we may all start to break down the wall that encloses our heart, imprisoning our spirit within, freeing our spirit to be able to be shared with all others. This is Ken with another spiritual video.